All right, guys, buckle up because this one is wild. President Trump is about to sit down or maybe throw down with New York City's brand new socialist mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. And listen, this isn't some friendly brunch. This is a man who built the most powerful political movement in modern American history, meeting a guy whose entire platform is basically everything should be free, someone else will pay for it. So today we're diving into what the media is calling a meeting, but honestly feels more like a political collision course. Will Trump handle this like a calm sit-down, or does Amani walk into the Oval Office and turn it into a showdown? Let's get into it. You know we drop it like it's hot in here, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Where President Trump is set to meet with New York City's socialist mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani at the White House.
Okay, so right off the bat, socialist mayor-elect. That's how this story starts. New York really said, let's try communism for a change. It's already funny that Imani is going to the White House not to scold Trump, not to resist, not to protest, but to meet him. These guys scream about Trump being a dictator 24/7, but the moment they need help with crime, affordability, or the disaster they created, suddenly the dictator is taking meetings. Isn't it interesting how every socialist eventually knocks on the door of the guy they claim is the problem?
So the two leaders are expected to discuss topics like crime and the affordability crisis when they meet face to face in just a few hours.
Crime and affordability, the two things Democrats keep saying they have under control while their cities turn into real-life GTA. The fact that Amani wants to talk about crime with Trump is hilarious. That's like the arsonist asking the firefighter for water tips. And the affordability crisis? New York created half of its own problems by taxing people to death, regulating everything, and pretending money falls from the sky. These socialist candidates always run on affordability, then somehow everything gets more expensive. That's the magic of the left. Nothing is affordable except excuses.
And Peter Ducey joins us now outside of the White House with the latest. Hey, Peter.
Good morning, and this meeting is going to be between a president who has led the most impactful political movement of a generation. You can see they've got something coming in for the meeting, maybe some chairs. But it's going to be between the president who has led the most impactful political movement of a generation and a mayor-elect who believes that a hard left turn away from that could give him the keys to the next generation.
And a hard left turn. So not center left, not moderate Democrat. We're talking full send into socialism. And he thinks this is the future. You ever notice how every far-left politician tells you they're leading the next generation, but the only people cheering for them are activists on TikTok and college kids who don't pay rent? Meanwhile, the actual working-class people these policies are supposed to help are packing their bags and moving to Texas or Florida. The left keeps thinking they're the future, but the future keeps leaving their cities.
Speaks volumes that tomorrow we have a communist coming to the White House because that's who the Democrat Party elected as the mayor of the largest city in the country. I think it's very telling, but I also think it speaks to the fact that President Trump is willing to meet with anyone and talk to anyone and to try to do what's right on behalf of the American people, whether they live in blue states or red states.
Zohran Mamdani wants free bus rides for New Yorkers, free childcare, an increased minimum wage, but has no real way to pay for any of it unless taxes are hiked on corporations.
There it is, the socialist starter pack. Free this, free that, raise wages magically, and, oh yeah, we'll just make corporations pay for it. Classic. These people think corporations are piggy banks sitting around waiting to be squeezed. No understanding of economics. No sense that when you raise taxes on businesses, businesses either leave or raise prices. Wealthy New Yorkers aren't fleeing because they hate bagels. They're fleeing because progressive politicians treat them like ATMs. And Amani's answer to affordability is more taxes? That's like sinking in quicksand and deciding the solution is to jump around harder.
That is a big part of the reason why wealthy New Yorkers are fleeing the Empire State, but Mamdani still thinks his platform is the solution for problems of affordability.
I know that for tens of thousands of New Yorkers, this meeting is between two very different candidates who they voted for the same reason. They wanted a leader who would take on the cost of living crisis that makes it impossible for working people to afford living in this city. I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable.
Typical Democrat pivot. I don't like Trump, but yeah, the translation is our city is collapsing and he's the only adult in the room. These guys will tweet Trump is a fascist all day long, but when rent hits $4,000 for a closet and crime turns your subway into Thunderdome, suddenly they're ready to be relentless about working with him. It shows you how bad NYC is right now. The socialist mayor-elect is walking into the White House basically saying, "Sir, we need help, but I still hate you. But please help."
President Trump says that Mamdani requested this meeting, the 3 p.m. sit-down or showdown, depending on how it goes.
Sit down or showdown. Knowing Trump, whatever happens will be unscripted and probably hilarious. He'll either charm the guy or steamroll him. There is no in-between. You put Trump and a full-blown socialist in a room together, that's not a meeting, that's a pay-per-view event. Someone needs to sell tickets. The fact that the press isn't allowed in at first tells me they're preparing for fireworks. And honestly, this could go either way. Trump offering solutions that actually work, or Amani trying to pitch utopian fantasies like Bernie Sanders on caffeine.
Is listed as closed press for now, but an overwhelming majority of listed closed press Oval Office events eventually let cameras in and then conclude with a lengthy Q&A for both the president and his guest. Back to you.
All right, it's going to be interesting, unscripted, and very different from the previous administration.
Yeah, both want affordability, but have different ways of achieving that.
Thanks, Peter. Remember Eric Adams, because he pushed back against President Biden's dumping illegal immigrants in his city. Said, you're not really welcome. Stop taking his calls. He was at the UN and wouldn't come across town. And we wouldn't even invite him. So this is a lot different. You got a socialist who gets elected, and the president says, if you want to come see me, you can see me.
Yep. Americans really care about crime as well. And when it comes to who you trust, Democrats or Republicans, over certain issues, this is what a Fox News poll reveals. Reducing crime, Republicans have that, 14 points. But creating jobs, making things more affordable, and raising wages.
Hold on. Democrats create jobs? According to who? The Tooth Fairy? Every job they create is either a federal desk job or a temporary boost from pouring tax dollars into something. Private sector growth happens when government gets out of the way, not when it strangles everything with regulations. And raising wages? Dude, wages didn't rise, prices did. It's easy to brag about raising wages when you caused inflation that eats all the wage increases. It's like bragging you filled the bathtub while the drain is open.
The Democrats have that.
That stuns me, by the way. Creating jobs, mostly federal jobs, raising wages, they didn't go up with the inflation that they cost, but we'll move on.
And creating jobs, I mean, the jobs report came out yesterday, and it was much better than predicted. They were predicting 50,000 jobs, and it was more than 100,000.
But there is some other news when it comes to the prices. Gas and Thanksgiving prices are down this year.
Right,
and when you look at the holidays, the gas projection, holiday gas projection for it, it is its lowest in the country since 2021.
Yeah, it's down. Yeah, it's down to $3.02. It last, in 2021, first year of the Biden administration, it was $3.40. Then it went way up, and then it went down.
Yeah, pumpkin pie gone down 3%. The national brand turkey down 4%. National brand frozen vegetables down 15%. And dinner rolls, everyone loves those, down 22%.
So Brian Brenberg was here early to talk about what this means. How does the economy feel, and actually what is actually happening? Watch.
Look, people are right about groceries being higher generally. You had huge price increases under the Biden administration. So that's a ship you turn around slowly. But it is good news when you see Thanksgiving food prices coming down. I think it's a sign of what's to come in the year ahead.
When you pass a big, beautiful bill, whatever you think of it, Democrat or Republican, it isn't in play yet.
No.
So you got it. What they passed in August is going to come into the game the new year.
About $90 billion of the positive effect of that's going to come when people file their taxes in 2026. So patience really means count on what's been done this year to pay dividends next year.
And there you go. So whatever's going to happen, whatever you think of the Trump administration and their economic principles and policies, they don't feel it yet. They shut down the government over Joe Biden's budget. But it's all about how you feel, and I think the administration is doing a much better job now of saying, tell me how you feel, and let me try to fix it, as opposed to this is how you should feel, and I've already fixed it. That was the previous administration's mantra.
Exactly. The past administration, when the American people were saying that we're feeling pain, they said, no. The numbers don't show that. This administration is acknowledging it, but saying help is on the way. Give us a little bit of time. But there's some new numbers on the personal finance situation.
Yeah, people are feeling better about their personal finances this year compared to last year. Right now, 40% say excellent and good, 60% say only fair or poor. But at the same time last year, 38% said excellent and good, and 62% said only fair or poor.
Yeah, so it's how you feel, and when those numbers go up about how you feel about the economy, then I'll give you an idea of how I think the midterms will go. But until you get in the game for 2026, I think that's how we'll feel, and we'll see what we can get see if the American get their wages up. If inflation's stuck, the one way to solve it is to get the wages up.
The big, beautiful bill, I know you were just talking about that with Brian Brimberg. That goes into effect in January, right?
Well, you got to figure the new year when some of the programs go into effect and some of the spending goes out there, the Trump bucks. What do they call them? The Trump dollars when kids are born for now. And then, of course, you have anybody who's in a job where you're getting tips.
Right.
Immediately when you file your taxes and get a refund, you're going to get a refund now because you're not paying taxes on them. So you're filing less. So that'll be an immediate impact. Rich people don't get tips.
No.
Right? So that's one thing the president wants to, because he's rich. People go, you just want to, and he has rich friends. People think, well, you're here for your rich friends, and it's easy to do that. But if you know the president, he doesn't do it for the rich friends. If you look at the people that show up at his rallies and vote for him, they're working class people.
That's
and
right.
that's what's really vexed the Democrats, because he's winning over union voters and working class.
This part is so revealing. The left keeps trying to paint Trump as the billionaire who only cares about the elite. Meanwhile, the elite hate him, and the working class loves him. That's why Democrats panic. Trump is cutting into their base. Union workers show up at his rallies, construction workers chant his name. People who actually sweat for a living trust him more than the political class. And it drives Democrats crazy because their whole identity politics formula breaks down when the guy they call a dictator is actually connecting with normal Americans better than they do. That's the real reason they fear him.
If he can shrink the gap between upper class and lower class, I think it would really help the country.
And there you have it, Trump and Mamdani about to face off in what might be the most unlikely, uncomfortable, and honestly entertaining meeting of the year. A socialist mayor-elect walking into the Oval Office to get help from the man his party has demonized for 8 years. Is it a sit-down? Is it a showdown? Personally, I'm leaning showdown because whenever Trump is in the room, you never get just a chat, you get a moment. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen when these two worlds collide. And if you enjoy content that breaks down the political circus with some honesty, humor, and common sense, make sure you subscribe. Let's keep going.